Let us start from 96. Was it 96? Sumukhi is not done. No, 94. Kumara Gananathamba. Please ensure that you are also reciting with me the second time. First time you hear me, and then second you recite along with me and correct by yourself. Please do not just listen. I would strongly recommend that all of you practice. Now I say every shloka mostly four times, and so two times you should be at least repeating with me. कुमारगणनाथाम्बा तुष्टिः पुष्टिर्मतिर्धृतिः शान्तिः स्वस्तिमती कान्तिर्नन्दिनी विघ्ननाशिनी कुमारगणनाथाम्बा please be on mute. कुमारगणनाथाम्बा तुष्टिः पुष्टिर्मतिर्धृतिः शान्तिः स्वस्तिमती कान्तिर्नन्दिनी विघ्ननाशिनी कुमारगणनाथाम्बा तुष्टिः पुष्टिर्मतिर्धृतिः शान्तिः स्वस्तिमती कान्तिर्नन्दिनी विघ्ननाशिनी कुमारगणनाथाम्बा तुष्टिः पुष्टिर्मतिर्धृतिः शान्तिः स्वस्तिमती कान्तिर्नन्दिनी विघ्ननाशिनी तेजोवती त्रिनयना लोलाक्षी कामरूपिणी मालिनी हंसिनी माता मलया चलवासिनी तेजोवती त्रिनयना लोलाक्षी कामरूपिणी मालिनी हंसिनी माता मलया चलवासिनी तेजोवती त्रिनयना लोलाक्षी कामरूपिणी मालिनी हंसिनी माता मलया चलवासिनी तेजोवती त्रिनयना लोलाक्षी कामरूपिणी मालिनी हंसिनी माता मलया चलवासिनी सुमुखी नलिनी शुभ्रूशोभना सुरनायिका कालकण्ठी कान्तिमती क्षोभिणी सूक्ष्मरूपिणी सुमुखी नलिनी शुभ्रूशोभना सुरनायिका कालकण्ठी कान्तिमती क्षोभिणी सूक्ष्मरूपिणी सुमुखी नलिनी शुभ्रूशोभना सुरनायिका कालकण्ठी कान्तिमती क्षोभिणी सूक्ष्मरूपिणी. And as I have observed, some people are not paying close attention. Please make sure that the first two times when I'm reciting, you hear and follow each letter and word very precisely. Do not, some people may have this overconfidence that they already know, they have seen these are just simple words, but it is not so. Uh, even the Ghanapatis of Vedas, though they have been, they're full time into it and it is their bread and butter, they will still, when they are hearing from their gurus, they will still pay very rapt attention to the hearing. Okay, so it is called Shravana Samskara. Even careful listening is itself half the job done. So while before chanting yourself, please listen to each of the words, each letter, each Mahaprana, Alpa Prana, and so on. All of you are doing it well, but still some more refinement is still needed. So do not just skip away and rush through the words. सुमुखी नलिनी शुभ्रूशोभना सुरनायिका कालकण्ठी कान्तिमती क्षोभिणी सूक्ष्मरूपिणी सुमुखी नलिनी शुभ्रूशोभना सुरनायिका कालकण्ठी कान्तिमती क्षोभिणी सूक्ष्मरूपिणी वज्रेश्वरी वामदेवी वयोवस्था विवर्जिता सिद्धेश्वरी सिद्धविद्या सिद्धमाता यशस्विनी वज्रेश्वरी वामदेवी वयोवस्था विवर्जिता सिद्धेश्वरी सिद्धविद्या सिद्धमाता यशस्विनी वज्रेश्वरी वामदेवी वयोवस्था विवर्जिता सिद्धेश्वरी सिद्धविद्या सिद्धमाता यशस्विनी विशुद्धिचक्रनिलया रक्तवर्णा त्रिलोचना खट्वाङ्गादिप्रहरणा वदनैकसमन्विता 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 पायसान्नप्रिया त्वक्स्था पशुलोकभयङ्करी अमृतादिमहा शक्तिसंवृता डाकिनीश्वरी पायसान्नप्रिया त्वक्स्था पशुलोकभयङ्करी अमृतादिमहाशक्तिसंवृता डाकिनीश्वरी पायसान्नप्रिया त्वक्स्था पशुलोकभयङ्करी अमृतादिमहाशक्तिसंवृता डाकिनीश्वरी पायसान्नप्रिया त्वक्स्था पशुलोकभयङ्करी अमृतादिमहाशक्तिसंवृता डाकिनीश्वरी अनाहताब्जनिलया श्यामा भावदनद्वया दंष्ट्रोज्ज्वलाक्षमालादिधरा रुधिरसंस्थिता 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 कालरात्र्यादिशक्त्योघवृता स्निग्धौदनप्रिया महावीरेन्द्रवरदा राकिण्यम्बा स्वरूपिणी कालरात्र्यादिशक्त्यौघवृता स्निग्धौ दनप्रिया महावीरेन्द्रवरदा राकिण्यम्बा स्वरूपिणी कालरात्र्यादिशक्त्यौघवृता स्निग्धौ दनप्रिया महावीरेन्द्रवरदा राकिण्यम्बा स्वरूपिणी. This word is Kala Ratriyadi Shaktyauga Vrita Snigdhau Dana Priya. Some people say dhana, it is not dhana, it is snigdha odana, becomes snigdhaudana, means some kind of a pasty rice. Snigdha odana, snigdhaudana. महावीरेन्द्र वरदा राकिण्यम्बा स्वरूपिणी कालरात्र्यादिशक्त्यौघवृता स्निग्धौ दनप्रिया महावीरेन्द्र वरदा राकिण्यम्बा स्वरूपिणी मणिपूराब्जनिलया वदनत्रयसंयुता वज्राधिक क्षम्यतां वज्रादिकायुधोपेता डामर्यादिभिरावृता मणिपूराब्जनिलया वदनत्रयसंयुता वज्रादिकायुधोपेता डामर्यादिभिरावृता मणिपूराब्जनिलयावदनत्रयसंयुता वज्रादिकायुधोपेता डामर्यादिभिरावृता मणिपूराब्जनिलयावदनत्रयसंयुता वज्रादिकायुधोपेता डामर्यादिभिरावृता. Though here it is samyuta, some people, because the anuswara is followed by ya, we can turn the anuswara into ya, an anunasika, a nasal ya sound. So samyuta is also correct, or samyuta is also correct. मणिपूराब्जनिलया वदनत्रयसंयुता वज्रादिकायुधोपेता डामर्यादिभिरावृता रक्तवर्णा मांसनिष्ठा गुडान्नप्रीतमानसा समस्तभक्तसुखदा लाकिन्यम्बा स्वरूपिणी 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 स्वाधिष्ठानाम्बुजगता चतुर्वक्त्रमनोहरा शूलाद्यायुधसम्पन्ना पीतवर्णातिगर्विता स्वाधिष्ठानां भुजगता चतुर्वक्त्रमनोहरा शूलाद्यायुधसम्पन्ना पीतवर्णातिगर्विता स्वाधिष्ठानां भुजगता चतुर्वक्त्रमनोहरा वक्त्र मनोहरा शूलाद्यायुध संपन्ना पीतवर्णाति गर्विता स्वाधिष्ठानाम्बुजगता चतुर्वक्त्र मनोहरा शूलाद्यायुध संपन्ना पीतवर्णाति गर्विता मेदोनिष्ठा मधुप्रीता बन्दिन्यादिसमन्विता दध्यन्नासक्तहृदया काकिनीरूपधारिणी मेदोनिष्ठा मधुप्रीता बन्धिन्यादिसमन्विता दध्यन्नासक्तहृदया काकिनीरूपधारिणी. Some versions say this to be Bandhini, and some people say it is Bandhini with the Mahaprana. Either works. I have usually seen texts with the Alpa Prana, the small the. So I shall teach with that. Medo nishtha madhu preta bandinyadi samanvita दध्यन्ना सक्त हृदया काकिनी रूपधारिणी मेदोनिष्ठा मधुप्रीता बन्दिन्यादि समन्विता दध्यन्ना सक्त हृदया काकिनी रूपधारिणी मूलाधाराम्बुजारूढा पञ्चवक्त्रास्थि संस्थिता अङ्कुशादिप्रहरणा वरदादिनिषेविता मूलाधाराम्बुजारूढा पञ्चवक्त्रास्थि संस्थिता अंकुशादिप्रहरणा वरदादिनिषेविता मूलाधाराम्बुजारूढा पञ्चवक्त्रास्थि संस्थिता अंकुशादिप्रहरणा वरदादिनिषेविता मूलाधाराम्बुजारूढा पञ्चवक्त्रास्थि संस्थिता अंकुशादिप्रहरणा वरदादिनिषेविता मुद्गौदनासक्तचित्ता साकिन्यम्बा स्वरूपिणी आज्ञाचक्राब्जनिलया शुक्लवर्णा षडानना 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 मज्जासंस्थाहंसवती मुख्यशक्तिसमन्विता हरिद्रान्नैकरसिका हाकिनी रूपधारिणी मज्जा संस्था हंसवती मुख्यशक्ति समन्विता हरिद्रान्नैक रसिका हाकिनी रूपधारिणी मज्जा संस्था हंसवती मुख्य शक्ति समन्विता हरिद्रान्नैक रसिका हाकिनी रूपधारिणी मज्जा संस्था हंसवती मुख्य शक्ति समन्विता हरिद्रान्नैक रसिका हाकिनी रूपधारिणी सहस्रदल पद्मस्था सर्ववर्णोपशोभिता सर्वायुधधरा शुक्लसंस्थिता सर्वतोमुखी सहस्रदल पद्मस्था सर्ववर्णोपशोभिता सर्वायुधधरा शुक्लसंस्थिता सर्वतोमुखी सहस्रदल पद्मस्था सर्ववर्णोपशोभिता सर्वायुधधरा शुक्लसंस्थिता सर्वतोमुखी सर्वौ क्षम्यतां सहस्रदलपद्मस्था सर्ववर्णोपशोभिता सर्वायुधधरा शुक्लसंस्थिता सर्वतोमुखी सर्वौदनप्रीतचित्ता या किन्यम्बा स्वरूपिणी स्वाहा स्वधा मतिर्मेधा श्रुतिः स्मृतिरनुत्तमा सर्वौदनप्रीतचित्ता या किन्यम्बा स्वरूपिणी स्वाहा स्वधा मतिर्मेधा श्रुतिः smritiranutama. Now, because of the visarga being followed by a sa, the visarga itself also becomes a sa. So, shrutis smritir anuttama. Shrutis smritir anuttama. Sarvaudana prita chitta yakinyamba swarupini स्वाहा स्वधा मतिर्मेधा श्रुतिः स्मृतिरनुत्तमा सर्वौदनप्रीतचित्ता या किन्यम्बा स्वरूपिणी स्वाहा स्वधा मतिर्मेधा श्रुतिः स्मृतिरनुत्तमा पुण्यकीर्तिः पुण्यलभ्या पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तना पुलोमजार्चिता बन्धमोचनी bandhuralaka. There are two versions, one which is given in the brackets, which is the more popular one, bandhuralaka, or barbaralaka also, which is less popular. We shall go with bandhuralaka. पुण्यकीर्तिः पुण्यलभ्या पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तना पुलोमजार्चिता बन्धमोचनी बन्धुरालका पुण्यकीर्तिः. Because the visarga is followed by pa, the visarga becomes a fa sound. पुण्यकीर्तिः पुण्यलभ्या पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तना पुलोमजार्चिता बन्धमोचनी बन्धुरालका पुण्यकीर्तिः पुण्यलभ्या पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तना पुलोमजार्चिता बन्धमोचनी बन्धुरालका. Okay, let's stop here. We shall continue with our meaning discussions, which was shloka number Which was the last sloka we were discussing? I think 50. We were discussing about, correct, 50. Now we have so far seen how in the original tattva of Lalita, in her abstract nature, she is nirvikalpa, nirabadha, nirbheda, and so on. Even yesterday, Usha Arya was discussing with us the meanings of those. And continuing in the same vein, she is nistula. Tula is to have a comparison. She is nistula means she is unmatched. She has no parallel. She is unparalleled. Nistula, Neela Chikura. Her hairs are Neela. And here doesn't mean blue. She has not dyed her hair blue, but Neela in Sanskrit also refers to it being black. So she has a very thick, dark, dense hair, Neela Chikura, and Nirapaya. Of course, she cannot be subjected to any apaya, to any dangers. And danger is when there is an identity. So J. Krishnamurti and other philosophers too, even Patanjali Maharshi himself describes that once we draw a boundary, that is the cause of violence. So a boundary is necessary for establishing an identity. So, for example, if you think of cells in biology, without the cell membrane, they are just a collection of gooey organelles here and there. What we say as this cell, this particular X cell, will first draw the outer boundary, right? Even in art, what is the first thing we draw? We first draw the outline of the body. Only then we start filling in the organs, the color, all of that. So the outline or the boundary of any organism defines its very identity. So I have, let's say I am 70 kgs or whatever, and I am 6 foot tall. And now, so this particular outline of mine, this silhouette of mine, will define where Sudarshan ends and where just air begins. So the air 1 feet from my head is not Sudarshan, right? Because it is not captured by the boundary of Sudarshan. So similarly, once we have a boundary drawn, we'll have an identity. Which is why we say he has crossed a boundary or he has overstepped his boundary. In relationships also we say we must maintain boundaries and so on. So this boundary is basically the establishing of identity and the continuance of that. And when there is an identity, there is also always a threat of the line, the boundary getting smudged, of people crossing over the boundary, or them demanding something to come out of the boundary and so on. So when there is a system without in complete isolation, of course, there is no apaya, there is no danger. But then no system is very isolated, is ever isolated. So we are all living in connection with each other, and so boundaries are always being challenged. So that is what happens when there is a boundary. Because she is without boundary, she is the cosmic form which captures and encapsulates everything, which envelops everything. There is verily the definition of boundary itself has become irrelevant, and therefore there is no one to even challenge such a boundary. She is without apaya, nirapaya, and niratyaya. Similarly, atyaya means to cross, to transgress, to overstep. So she cannot be overstepped. Niratyaya. Durlabha, unattainable. Durgama, unapproachable. Durga, she is the Devi Durga. And interestingly, in Samskrita, there is in the Vyakarana, they say Gatyarthakaha dhatavaha can also be Jnanarthakaha dhatavaha. So Jnana, to know and to walk, both sometimes are interchangeable. The dhatus there are interchangeable. So here when they say Durgama, even in Kannada we say Gamana Harisu anta. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರು ನಡೀತಿಲ್ಲ ಗಮನ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಡೆಯೋದು ಅಂತ. It means to walk. But in Kannada also when you say Gamana, it means to like focus or put your attention and understand and seek and gain knowledge. So even in Samskrita too, Gati, so to Durgama here means not only is she unapproachable in the physical sense, but that is, it is very hard to reach her through walking or whatever, traveling in other means. She is also unapproachable by jnana, by knowledge. We cannot think about her. Durgama, and she is Durga. Interestingly, Durga in Sanskrit also means a fort. And we say Savana Durga, Makali Durga, and so on, right? So Durga means a fort, which is guarding the innermost sacred tattva from the material world. Durga, Dukkha Hantri. What does she do? She removes our dukkha, she removes our suffering and pains. Aganis are removed, and then therefore she gives in that place. What does she give? She gives Sukha Prada. She replaces the dukkha and she puts sukha in its place. Sukha Prada. Dushta Dura. She is very far away from the dushtas. Dushtas, of course, means evil. She is farthest removed from evil, thus signifying her to be all good, all benevolent. Durachara Shamani. Shamani means to suppress or conquer. Durachara Shamani, she who has conquered Durachara. Achara is a ritual or or something that we do. Achara. Duracharas, an ill-intended ritual or an ill-intended habit that we have. Durachara Shamani. She conquers, she represses such, not represses, she suppresses and overcomes, subdues those bad habits. Durachara Shamani. And why is that? Because we have seen that she is Dukkha Hantri. She removes suffering. And why people get into Durachara mostly, at least in my theory, is they are either running away from, they're escaping some harsh realities of life. So they get into all of this Durachara. And when that itself is removed, there is no reason to tread the wrong path. Durachara is gone, and therefore, um, most people would walk on the Suachara, the good path. Dosha Varjita, without any doshas. These are very self-evident words, and because all of these also occur in all our vernacular languages, I'm just breezing through them. Where it requires more deeper explanation, I shall be giving so. Dosha Varjita is she is removed of all doshas. In fact, there are said to be three doshas. Even in Ayurveda, they say Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. In that sense, also maybe she is dosha Varjita. And dosha in the usual sense of a mistake, of a blunder, of an error. Dosha Varjita. She is supremely perfect, Sarvajna, all-knowing, Sandra Karuna. She is her compassion, Karuna, is Sandra. Sandra means dense, immense, dense compassion. She's a fountain of compassion and joy. Why is that so? Because she is Shri Mata, and the one person in our life typically that we associate with compassion is with the mother. Is it not? Even if the children were to wrong the mother archetype I'm saying it's not that every mother in the world is, the supreme embodiment of God itself, but the motherhood, at least the motherness, is supposed to represent intense compassion for the offsprings. And that is true across not just in humans, but also other species too. We see that very strongly in mammals. The word mammal itself has come from their mammary glands, that is, their capability to nourish. I mean, specifically for the females. You see, that entire class of organisms, that entire genus of organisms came to be named after the motherhood. So, mamata, mammals. And she, being Shri Mata and Jagat Ambika, uh, she's a fountain of compassion. That is why we always say kuputro jayeta kvachidapi kumata na bhavati. Putra, there may be a son who would be a child in general who can turn out to be evil. Kuputraha jayeta, but kvachidapi never ever can kumata na bhavati. When in her any person in the form or in the role of being a mother, she can never be evil because she is by definition very compassionate. Kumata na bhavati. And samana adhika varjita. She has given up. It's not that she had highs and lows in her life, but she's completely, uh, she has completely annihilated the sine waves and the cos waves, the ups and downs, the troughs and crests. Samana adhika. To be samana is to be equal on par with her, and adhika also means someone who has excelled and surpassed her. She neither has an equal nor a person who has surpassed her. So everybody else is to say below her. Everything else is below God. It is below Lalita. Samana adhika varjita. And the other meaning, of course, here samana means steadiness, and adhika means the extremes. So she's completely dissociated and disjoint from the idea of uh, stability and destability. She has completely removed from it. Sarva Shakti Mayi. She comprises all the energy in the universe. Sarva Shakti Mayi. Sarva Mangala. And she comprises all auspiciousness. Mangala means auspicious. Sadgati Prada. Prada means to give, and Sadgati, she bestows. Sadgati, she bestows. What is Sadgati in English? It's hard to translate, but it means they will reach salvation. Sadgati. Sarveshwari, the Lord of all things. Sarvamayi, she is made by everything in the universe. So this represents a very pantheistic view. Pantheism means to imagine God or goddess in this case as being the very universe itself. Sarvamayi. That everything of the universe is like a cell or an atom in our body. So we have our own bodies, correct? And so we have different organs, fingers, toes, stomach, body, etc. So if we were to imagine this entire universe itself as this one big body, that body would belong to what we would call God or Lalita. So she is Sarvamayi and Sarva Mantra Swarupini. She is of the form Swarupa of every mantra because all mantras come from, I think I have talked about this, that there is something called as the Bindu and the Nada. So Bindu means a singularity and Nada means the pulse. It is a vibration, the primordial vibration. And because she is the universe itself, which is nothing but a manifestation of this aforesaid Nada, of the pulse, she is also, therefore, the form of every mantra, which is nothing but the offsprings of that primordial nada. Sarva mantra swarupini. It can be Vishnu, it can be Shiva, it can be Ganesha, whichever god. Perhaps I would even go on to say, if you are very Advaitic, you can also start, incorporating other religions too. It can be Allah, it can be whatever that God, the Father in the heavens. It can be any naturalist god of the forest, whatever the human mind thinks of as being God, and whatever mantra is therefore associated with that particular god, she is all of that. Because primordially, all sounds are hers, and therefore, mantras being offsprings of sounds or of pulses are hers too. Sarva Yantratmika, all the yantras, and yantras they have a technical meaning. Yantras are geometrical figures drawn to attract certain energies, they say. So even as a very simple example, in front of the house, we draw these rangolis. They may not be very, technically as per so-called the Shastras, but any design as such itself captures beauty and symmetry. Is it not? It is captivating because our eyes, I would say not even just our eyes, but any creature which can see is somehow attracted by symmetry. And this is true because we see that there is immense organic symmetry in nature itself. You see, most mammals are bilateral, they have a bilateral symmetry. It means their bodies can be cut into and we can get equal parts, the left and the right side. And then you can have an anterior and a posterior symmetry. Then you can have a radial symmetry like a star. A starfish also has a radial symmetry. So if the animals, they may not be aware of themselves, they may not be cooking up these symmetries in their minds, but somehow in nature there is already symmetry. And uh, you know, so then how is it that we are not attracted? We cannot be not attracted to symmetry. We are. And therefore, these geometry man-made designs are to represent the innate symmetry in the universe as well as in the world around us. So these are smaller representation of yantras. And so in with more sophistication, including the bija mantras and particular system of drawings and so on. So we have, for example, the Sudarshana yantra, we have Sri Chakra yantra, and there is a Pratyangira yantra and so on. All of these, in Vastu Purusha, we also have the Vastu Yantra, which is placed during Graha Praveshas too, and Navagraha Yantra. What is the point of all of this? It is believed that the Devatas, they recognize a geometrical shape as theirs. You say, let's say I am stranded on an island. So then we write SOS, so that it's a understood convention that any helicopter or anything which is flying in the air, if it looks at that SOS written on a sand or something, it means there is a human in distress. And so they will know it and they will come to that place. Similarly, these gods who are flying in the astral planes, to give them a signal that you are needed at this place, that we call unto you. These particular specific yantras are designed. And it is believed that once they are attracted to that particular yantra, some avahana, puja, and other rituals are carried on to appease the devata. And she, Lalita, is the soul of all yantras. She, Sarva Yantra Atmika. Just as we discussed that there is symmetry in nature itself. In fact, even the universe itself has this very great symmetry. You see, most planets and all heavenly bodies, in fact, have a tendency to become spherical. And sphere, in at least out of all the 3D figures, is the most symmetrical figure, the most symmetrical object possible. And even light also has this symmetry. Uh, there is symmetry in time, and there is symmetry in space also. So you can't really make out. So all directions are equal in space. There is no preferred north or no preferred south. So that is another symmetry about the universe. So she is that symmetry itself. Sarva Yantra Atmika. She is the soul of all yantras, which is symmetry, and she is that. Sarva Tantra Rupa. Tantra here refers to techniques. Techniques means methods. Sarva Tantra Rupa. All methods which are described. So once the devata is invoked, the avahana has been done. There is a tantra, there is a method, there's a ritual to appease it. For example, if a guest comes to our home, what would we do? First, we will go down, escort them to our place, and then we make them sit, we offer water, and then we say you can use the bathroom if you like, and then we'll give coffee or tea, something, and then we chit chat, and then we ask them for lunch and so on. And then while going back, we give them tambula and we say, let's meet again soon, something like this. And then the point is, there is a certain ritual which we also do towards guests. A similar kind of amicability needs to be developed between us and the devata, for which certain set of rituals like dhyana, avahana, simhasana samarpayami, and then abhisheka. Then we do ashtottara puja. We offer gandha, pushpa, naivedyam, mangalarti, and then we do namaskara and we we bid goodbye. All of this is a very simple Vedic ritual. But the tantras have other stuffs too. For example, particular uh, incantations are mentioned, and then particular number of japas are prescribed, and so on and so forth. So, what is the point of all this ritual? There, the soul of all this ritual is to develop a relationship between the devata and ourselves, to actually consider the devata to be as real as any other human, and therefore this amicability which is needed to be developed is Lalita herself, that soul of all ritual, which is sneha, which is bhakti. She is manon mani. And once we have seen that she is all these external rituals, external geometric designs, and so on, this other word, which is manon mani, is talking about a yogic state of consciousness, which is called manonmani. The word itself is the reference to a type of a samadhi, manonmani, wherein unmana means to uh, turn the mind on itself. Mana unmani means to make the mind do a somersault, which means to uproot the entire mind. That is called manonmani. So what it means is that when a yogi or a yogini is in deep states of focus, she or he will try to slay the mind, and I don't mean it in a very violent way. It's not to, there's no self harm being done, but slay the mind in the sense that slay the identity itself. As we have discussed yesterday and in the previous classes too, that ahankara is what glues the entire frame, the mental structure together. And so attacking this glue, attacking the identity is as good as uprooting the entire system. It's as good as making the entire system collapse. And this is done not out of the hatred for oneself, but for the love for something bigger, the for attaining a cosmic state of mind. So that is where the limited mind, the mana, as is called the limited mind, is uh, it literally means to make it turn on itself. Mana unmani, and she represents that particular process or that particular samadhi state where the mind no longer functions in its usual way. It is very strange, behaves in very strange, mysterious, esoteric ways. That is what also happens incidentally when if you remember the hippie culture from the 90s, when any person, not just in that time, but even till date, when the mind is put under certain medications or when the brain is, the neurons or the hormone receptors in the brain are meddled with, then the mind starts behaving very strangely. It is no longer under the civilized conditioning of society, right? And in the Shastras, they always use this example of Bala Unmatta Pishachavat. Just as a person, the mind would behave like a child because the child is yet to be conditioned. And Unmatta means a mad person, a lunatic, um, has tried to, deviate from the societal conditioning. And Pishacha is like the ghost, which is already gone through the conditioning and it has, completely exited from this entire process of conditioning. So in any of these three states, whether before conditioning, whether deviated voluntarily from conditioning or forcefully, or after exiting the conditioning of the society, the mind no longer behaves in its usual ways. And even a person who is intoxicated, we have seen he blabbers, all the repressed and suppressed memories will come out. He'll quite literally purge things out. And all of this is very strange. It is an unmana. It is a weird take of the mind. It is a weird process of the mind. And that happens because, like I said, there is no conditioning. And secondly, even the natural instincts of the body, even the natural instincts which are there in any creature, if those are also challenged, I mean, we are not just speaking about civilization and modesty. We are talking about all the conditioning which is there not just by society, but also by nature itself. When those are themselves turned upside down, then there is a possibility, so they say, of the mind achieving a state, something very large, something very vast. And that she is Manonmani. Maheshwari, uh, she is Maheshwara's Patni, Maheshwari. Mahadevi, the great goddess. Mahalakshmi, she is of the form of Lakshmi. And Mrida Priya, she is the beloved of Mrida. Mrida means Shiva. Mahar, and all of these are very self-obvious meanings. Maharupa, she has a great form. Mahapujya, most venerable. Mahapataka Nashini, who utterly cuts asunder all the sins. Mahapataka Nashini. And Pataka not just means sins, but it is also things or events or people in our lives which cause us to fall. Pataka literally means that which makes us fall, that which pulls our legs down. Mahapataka Nashini, she destroys them. Mahamaya, the great illusion, the great uh, power which veils the reality itself. Mahamaya, Mahasattva, and she is also that which is being hidden. She is the entity, the truth, the reality, the Sattva, which is beyond this universe. Mahasattva, Mahashaktihi, great power, and Maharatihi. She has immense rati. Rati is interest. The other meaning is libido, the sexual power. She is the form of intense sexual energy. Maharatihi. Mahabhoga. There is no limit to the things around her which she can derive pleasure from. Mahabhoga. Maha Aishwarya. She, because she is Ishwari herself, the quality of being an Ishvara is called Aishwaryam. Ishwarasya bhava Aishwaryam. To be in complete control of situations, things, people, phenomenon around you is to be said to be the state of being in Aishwarya. So that actually is what Aishwarya is. In our vernacular, we have unfortunately dumbed down the meaning to say prosperity and wealth. Aishwarya bantu, sampad bantu. Anta. It is not so. Aishwarya is to be in complete possession and volition so as to manipulate any situation, person, things, events around us. And so that is Aishwarya, and she, because she is the Almighty, can do so. Mahavirya, as we have seen verily in this very own stotram, that how valiant she was to destroy this Bhandasura who went back in time and went forward in time to bring the Asuras from all yugas and to bring Asuras from all dimensions too. So she demonstrated her valor uh, so many other times too. Shumbha, Shumbha, Chandamunda, and so on. Very powerful. Mahavirya. And so she is also Mahabala, a lot of strength. And the other meaning is Bala in Sanskritam refers to a Sainyam, to an army. She commands a huge army, an enormous, innumerous Shakti Sena. And in fact, this is quite the antithesis to what is believed to be women. Women, we usually say Durbala, Abala, and all that, which is not the case. Lalita, who is a Stri herself too, is Mahabala, Mahavirya, Mahabhoga, Maheshwarya. Mahabuddhi, her intellect, her awareness is really deep and great. Mahasiddhi, lot of achievements, and she has the Ashtasiddhis too in her control. What are the Ashtasiddhis? Anima, Siddhi means an achievement, means a power. Anima, the power to become small or to shrink in size. Maha Anima. Garima is to become large, enlarge in ourselves. Anima, Garima, Mahima is to become great in terms of perception. Mahima, Anima, Garima, Laghima is to become very light. And then Prapti is to obtain anything of one's will. Prapti, Prakamyam, and to create desires either in oneself or in others and make yourself desirable. So Prakamyam and then Ishitvam. Ishitvam, like I said, is Ishvara, to make things fall and subservient to you. Ishitvam and Vashitvam is to completely hypnotize and control some aspects of another person's life. So these are the Ashta Siddhis. She has all of them. In fact, other more mysterious Siddhis too she commands. Maha Yoga Ishwareshwari. She is the supreme most Lord or Empress of all, amongst all Maha Yogis, of amongst all great seekers and sadhakas and siddhas. She is the Empress of all of these. We'll do just one or two more and then we'll stop. Mahatantra, again, a lot of explanation has already been given about tantras. Mahamantra, Mahayantra, Mahaasana, and all these asanas as is prescribed in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika and the other books which are there in the Hatha Sampradaya, Hatha Yoga Sampradaya, which are in fact more popular than the actual yogas of the actual yoga as prescribed by Patanjali. She is all of those. Mahaasana, Mahayaga Kramaradhya. Yaga Krama. Krama is the procedure, the order in which things are executed. Mahayaga Krama Aradhya. She is the one who is worshipped by the very elaborate, very sophisticated, and convoluent, is that the right word? Uh, very intricate and very detailed worship as of a yaga, of a homa. We say Ashwamedha Yaga, Rajasuya Yaga, and all of these, which are very big. And in fact, it was so big that even in those days, only the emperor of the world was able to successfully perform it. A Rajasuya Yaga was not a small thing. It's not like some Ganapati Homa that we do, once a year or something. It was a very large festival and a large occasion too, where it involved doing lots of danas and lot of Ghana parties, and the Veda parties would have to be invited. So many strictures had to be followed and so on. So these are all the Vaidika and Tantrika rituals which finally lead to her and which are finally worshipping her in another form. Mahayaga Krama Aradhya and Mahabhairava Pujita. She is also worshipped by the great Bhairavas. Bhairavas are, there are many in number. In the Tantras, he is said to be an Ugra form of Shiva. He is Rudra, I mean, as is Rudra of the Vaidika era, so is Bhairava of the Tantrika era. In this era, Bhairava is shown with dogs, he is shown black and dark, and he lives in the Shmashanas. He's the keeper of Kashi. And what he represents is that final moment of death where all yatana, all agonies will resurface up in the person's consciousness. And so he is the guardian of such a soul. And he is the supervisor, so to speak, the manager. um, who overlooks the transition of this soul from the physical body into an astral body and further on into Yamaloka and then from there to Pitruloka or whichever loka is destined for that soul. So he is in charge of that transition. That is Bhairava. And what his name means is where Bhiru means a person who is scared. And of course, every creature fears death. And Bhairava is that sense of fear which he induces in not just the bhaktas but also in any creature because he represents that tattva of transition, right? Of change, of certain death, of uh, certain disentangling of the body, and that is Bhairava. She is worshipped. Lalita is worshipped by Bhairavas too, and they say that all the Devi Vidyas, all the knowledge path and sadhana of Devi is to be first accompanied by a puja of Bhairava. Just as we would do a Vaidika ritual by invoking Ganapati, in the Tantras they say first Bhairava puja must be done. First, of course, Guru and then Bhairava, and then any Devi sadhana is to be performed. Uh, Bhairavas are said to be also children or sons of Kali. Mahabhairava Pujita. She is worshipped by the Bhairavas themselves. Maheshwara Mahakalpa Mahatandava Sakshini. She is the Sakshi, she is a witness to the Mahatandava, the great cosmic dance which Maheshwara does, that Rudra does, towards the end of a kalpa. Mahakalpa Mahatandava Sakshini. When she herself engages in a Tandava, it is called a Lasya. It is called an Ananda Tandava, where she dances to procreate, to create joy and spread out energy into the world, into the universe. Whereas Maheshwara's dance, which is the Pralaya Tandava, is where destruction happens, where the energies run chaotically, where there is a great increase in entropy. In fact, Shiva represents entropy while Shakti represents energy. And when he does Tandava, it is when there is an increasing entropy in the world, and thus things are dismantling. Things are getting destroyed. They are slowly dissolving away into the void. So that is when the universe is said to have completely undergone the pralaya during the end of a certain kalpa, which could be some billions of years. Maheshwara Mahakalpa Mahatandava Sakshini, and she will sit silently when Shiva is doing his thing. And he is engaging in this very dramatic, almost childlike tantrum that he's throwing and destroying things. We have seen these children when they are in a very bad mood, they'll just destroy things and throw out uh, toys, perhaps even at us. And that she will just keep watching like a mother. And when she herself dances, it is when creation occurs. Mahaka, and then Shiva will sit quietly in awe and admiration. Mahakamesha Mahishi, Mahatripura Sundari. She is the Mahishi, the queen of Mahakamesha, of the supreme lord of desire, who is Shiva himself. So she is the queen of Shiva and Mahatripura Sundari. Who are we talking about? We are talking about this Devi, the most coveted, the most attractive and beautiful entity, not just a woman, it's an entity of all the three worlds. What are the three worlds? Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Swaha. The Bhuloka, which means the material realm, uh, and then Bhuvaha, which means the ethereal realm, and then, or the astral realm, so as it's called, and then the Swar Loka, which is the heavenly realm. So heaven, what are these three realms? So Bhu represents all the uh, things which are made up of the gross elements, matter, energy, and all of that. And then Bhuvaha is where the mind, the realm of the mind and of spirits. And Swarloka is the realm which is beyond the material and the spiritual, the material and the mental, which is the realm of quietude. Even in our own lives, when we do an analysis, we see we are talking to each other and through all of this laptop and all of that in the waking state, which can be called as the bhu, the material realm. And then when we dream, that is when bhuva is happening, when we are entering into the mental realm solely. And then when even the mind shuts down, but still there is a certain awareness that we were sleeping and we have been under anesthesia or whatever, that particular awareness occurs in the Swarloka, the third loka. And out of all these three, there is, they say, God or Lalita in this case, who is the Sakshi of all these three states. And that is the most beautiful entity, the most beautiful phenomenon of this world. And that she verily is. She is the Turiya. She is the one unchanging reality. Okay, so that was a lot for today. Mm, I'm just hoping to be able to complete all of this by the end of this month. We are still in 56, 57. Lalita willing, we'll be able to complete it at least till 70 by this week. Let's see. Okay, any questions, any suggestions? Anything else you want to add? The floor is yours. Please do so.
Not suggestions, but just a play on words. I was just thinking Mahabala has become Abala in this world now.
Correct, correct.
The news, we can hear that. Dhanyavada.
That's true. Dhanyawada.
Dhanyavada, Guru. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Dhanyawada. Okay. Astu, so see you all. Dhanyawada.
Dhanyavada. Thank you, sir. Dhanyavada.
Dhanyawada.
Dhanyavada, sir. Thank you
Dhanyawada.
very much.
Dhanyawada.